In the headlines, Labour suspends second day of protests, extends 14-day ultimatum. President Tinubu launches scheme to facilitate homegrown expertise. Kaduna State Government confirms 5 deaths from Lassa fever. Senegal public dialogue culminates in concessions ahead of presidential poll. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. The Nigeria Labour Congress leadership made a significant decision on Tuesday night, directing its members to suspend the nationwide protest for the second day. This decision came following what they deemed as a successful outcome from the initial day of protests nationwide. President Joe Ajaero, speaking after an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council, stated that while street protests might pause, engagements with the media will persist. The directive outlined in a communique jointly signed by the Acting General Secretary Ismail Bello extended the ultimatum by another 7 days, now set to expire on March 13, 2024. During the meeting, the NLC emphasized that this extension provides the government with an opportunity to fulfill its agreements with the Labour that was reached back in October of last year. It was made clear that if these agreements are not honored, decisive actions will follow. The Congress commended the overwhelming participation of Nigerians, NLC affiliates, state councils, workers and civil society allies during the peaceful protests across the country. It also acknowledges the collective voice of the people which has been heard, sending a strong message to those in power. Now, the decision, according to the Labour Union, was made to suspend the street action for the second day of protest, having achieved significant success on the first day. However, nationwide action will continue through simultaneous press conferences across all states, including the national headquarters. Furthermore, the union says the ultimatum was extended, giving the government an additional 7 days to implement the previous agreements and address other demands presented during the protest. If the demands are not met within the specified time frame, further action will be decided upon according to the NLC. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria on Tuesday held its first Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the year 2024, where it decided an increase in the monetary policy rate. The committee increased the MPR by 400 basis points, taking the interest rate hike from 18.7% to 22.75%. Addressing journalists after the meeting, the Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso revealed the reason behind the increase was to slow down Nigeria's high inflation rate, which has stayed on an upward trajectory. Chamun Dabeng tells us more.
Nigeria's inflation rate, coupled with several economic challenges, has continued to put a strain on the country's economic stability. However, to tame the tide of rising inflation, the Monetary Policy Committee finds it imperative to jack up the interest rate by 400 basis points.
Raise the MPR by 400 basis points to 22.75 from 18.75%.
Also concerned about the distortions in the foreign exchange market that have been responsible for the declining value of the naira, the CBN clarified a new regime which provides a $20,000 window to genuine bureau de change operators to access.
The committee's decisions were centered on the current inflationary and exchange rate pressures, projected inflation, and rising inflation expectations.
In what appears to be a departure from the past, the Central Bank of Nigeria reiterates its decision to move away from interventionist approach to financing to now focus on its key mandates. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has launched the Expatriate Employment Levy to facilitate homegrown expertise and balance employment opportunities between Nigerians and expatriates. The objective of the program is to close the wage gaps between expatriates and the Nigerian labor force while increasing employment opportunities for qualified Nigerian professionals in foreign companies operating in the country. From the State House, Kehinde Amodu has more.
Despite protests on rising living costs going on just outside the three-arm zones of government, there is no sign of unease in the mien of the president. He is assuring Nigerians that there is imminent light at the end of the tunnel as the country is gradually turning the corner.
We might be going through difficult periods. Now, we are glad that good effort is being made to retool, re-engineer the finances of the country, and make growth our hallmark.
President Tinubu is anticipating improved revenue generation, improved naturalization and indigenization, and the employment of more qualified Nigerians by foreign companies operating in the country. But he is warning that the scheme should not be used as an impediment, nor as a cudgel wielded to discourage foreign investors.
There must be a clear line of implementation and effective acceleration of aims and objectives of this program. Immigration matters and expatriate quotas and relevant stakeholders are to be effectively guided.
Minister of the Interior, Bumi Tunji-Ojo, explains that the essence of the scheme is to ensure that any expatriate brought in to work in Nigeria should possess the expertise that no Nigerian has.
It's important I say this, that part of the motivation is to reduce the dependence of companies on foreign personnel. And of course, to also reduce the rate at which renewal for expatriate quota is being sought after by companies. If this is well implemented, of which we can assure Your Excellency, it will be duly implemented. We want to see a scenario whereby once an expatriate comes, there should be a knowledge transition period of which Nigerians should be trained to be able to take over this responsibility and create opportunities for our teeming youth.
The project will be operated on a public-private partnership model between the federal government of Nigeria, the Nigeria Immigration Service, which is the implementing agency, and a technical partner, EEL Projects Limited. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Staying in Abuja, the House of Representatives has resolved to urge the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria not to implement the revised guideline for verification dated 7th of February 2023, pending an investigation by the House. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Patrick Umo, who frowned at the circumstances surrounding the revised regulations. The report.
In the motion, Umo noted that the revised guidelines, among others, stipulate that applicants for verification must have a minimum of 2 years post-qualification experience from the date of issuance of permanent practice license, obtain a letter of good standing from the Chief Executive Officer of applicant's place of work and the last training institution attended, adding that processing of application shall take a minimum of 6 months. He noted that since verification of certificates is to confirm and authenticate an already existing certificate issued by the Nursing and Midwifery Council, therefore, the requirement for 2 years post-qualification experience before verification of certificate is unreasonable, as it may, among other things, restrict the freedom of nurses seeking education or additional skills and training in foreign universities.
Aware of the concerns, protest and stiff opposition to the implementation of the revised guidelines by health professionals led by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Also aware that verification of certificates is to confirm and authenticate an already existing certificate issued by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Therefore, the requirement for 2 years post-qualification experience before verification of certificate
please. Order.
is unreasonable, arbitrary, and unfair.
In another development, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Disabilities to investigate the compliance level by ministries, departments, and agencies of government to the Disability Act 2018. In a motion sponsored by Larry Okonla, the House noted that Sections 3 to 8 of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 specifies that persons with disability have the right to access the physical environment in buildings on an equal basis with others. He further noted most persons with disability face stigmatization, discrimination, violence, lack of access to physical structures such as transportation, health, education, housing, and other necessity of life.
About 30 million Nigerians are persons with disability. Further notes that most persons with disabilities face stigmatization, discrimination, violence, and lack of access to physical structures such as transportation, health, education, housing, and other necessities of life.
The House said the investigation is to ensure that MDA is taking into cognizance the need to carry people with disabilities along in this scheme of things.
12 years after it received the Stephen Oronsai report, the federal government of Nigeria on Monday approved the implementation of some of its recommendations to help reduce the rising cost of governance. Consequently, 29 government agencies will be merged, even as 8 parastatals will be subsumed into other government agencies. In this report, Noel Sampson examines the diverse reactions from the public on the potential impact of the implementation of the Oronsai report.
Since its formulation, the Oronsai report was championed as a panacea to the huge size of government agencies and operations. The government's pronouncement has sent shockwaves across the country as concerns grew over possible job losses if the report is implemented 100%. The imminent merger and scrapping of government agencies, according to the Tinubu administration, is in the best interest of the nation.
The vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in ensuring that credible information is given out to the Nigerian public, and in turn, government is expecting that members of the media will also report policies and programs of government responsibly, honestly, and truthfully.
The Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination as a member. The 2 Senior Special Assistants to the President on National Assembly are members, and the Cabinet Affairs Office will serve as Secretariat. The committee would look at the administrative restructuring and also the legislative amendments required to ensure the full implementation of the recommendations. There are other aspects of recommendations that have also been passed to the committee to relook at.
Reacting to these developments, a public affairs commentator has described the move as unpopular but necessary for efficiency in government.
Somehow, I think the understanding of the Oronsai report is that there are so many agencies that have been duplicated that are doing the same thing. For example, and I say it, what is the role of EFCC? What is the role of ICPC? Generally, they're doing the same thing. And if they're doing the same thing, why can't they work together as one agency that is very strong and powerful, that have resources?
Meanwhile, FCT residents have reacted to the government's consent to implement the report.
This is actually affecting our economy because each department, each agency, there is always an allocation from the budget. And at the end of year, you won't see anything they are using these monies to do. You just, in fact, in most cases, some of these, they are moribund. They are just there just to assist somebody there, probably to favor one political ally or just to make sure that somebody gets something.
It's good because the federal government will save about 240 something billion based on what I read from Oronsai report. So it's good.
Nigerians remain divided over likely impact and implications of the new move to streamline and cut costs of governance. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Kaduna State now, where the state government has confirmed that 5 fatalities were recorded in the wake of a Lassa fever outbreak within the state. This confirmation came through a report on the disease outbreak according to the State Commissioner for Health, Umma Ahmed, on Tuesday. According to the Commissioner, the process involved collecting 6 initial samples to ascertain the outbreak of Lassa in Kaduna State, followed by an additional 6 samples from various contacts. These samples were then sent to the Bayero University in Kano for analysis, with an expected turnaround time of 24 to 28 hours for the results. The index case, as reported, was a 26-year-old youth corps member who fell ill on February 9th and sought medical attention at the 44 Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna and unfortunately passed away on February 20th. Symptoms exhibited by the patients included fever, headache, convulsion, and bleeding. Subsequently, a total of 32 suspected cases were recorded, with samples collected accordingly. Among these cases, 6 were confirmed positive, resulting in 5 fatalities, with an equal distribution between males and females. The report further indicates that 5 cases tested negative, while results for 21 cases are still pending. Additionally, 99 contacts have been identified and are under surveillance, with 19 others showing symptoms prompting the collection of their samples for testing. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come, we take a look at an age-old tradition that continues to support numerous families, serving as a crucial means of livelihood. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at the top stories. NLC suspends second day of protests as it extends this 14-day ultimatum to the federal government. President Tinubu launches scheme to facilitate homegrown expertise. Now, in a strategic move aimed at fostering economic growth and ensuring transparency in governance, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has inaugurated 2 pivotal entities: the Committee on Ease of Doing Business and the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, to boost economic growth and curb leakages in government. Here's the report.
The Committee on Ease of Doing Business, led by the State Deputy Governor Aminu Usman, has been tasked with streamlining bureaucratic processes to attract investments and promote a business-friendly environment. Governor Namadi expressed confidence in the committee's ability to enhance the state's economic landscape. Simultaneously, the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission was inaugurated, with Salisu Abdu assuming the role of chairman. The commission holds the responsibility of addressing public grievances and combating corruption within the state. Governor Namadi emphasized the significance of maintaining integrity and accountability in public service.
So, people should understand that this commission will only take care of issues that involve breaches in the conduct of officers. To the officers, I think you have a very serious challenge. On our part, as Executive Council of Jigawa State, Allah knows that we have done our best. Our best in the sense that we have scrutinized all your papers and we have appointed you based on merit.
During the swearing-in ceremony, Chairman Salisu and his commission members pledged their commitment to upholding the principles of transparency, fairness, and ethical conduct. They vowed to diligently execute their duties, ensuring that the public concerns are addressed promptly and that corruption practices are eradicated.
I, Salisu Abdu, do solemnly swear, affirm that I will be faithful, bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Let me assure His Excellency and all the council members, and indeed the people of Jigawa State, that this commission will act transparently. The Commission will act with integrity. It will also be accountable. Indeed, we will try to imbibe the principle of fairness, fastness, and sometimes flexibility, of course.
Governor Namadi commended the newly inaugurated committees for their dedication to public service, emphasizing that these initiatives align with the state's vision for progress and good governance. As Jigawa State looks ahead, these committees are poised to play a pivotal role in fostering an environment conducive to business growth and eradicating corruption, thereby contributing to the overall development of the state.
Now, in our fast-evolving world, many traditional practices are getting overshadowed, replaced, or extinct. But amidst the hustle and bustle of progress, one ancient craft stands strong: palm leaf thatching. In Nigeria, particularly in the Okegun community of Odofin, situated in the Ibeju-Lekki area of Lagos State, this age-old tradition continues to support numerous families, serving as a crucial means of livelihood. Victoria Tokolo sheds light into this enduring tradition, conversing with locals who depend on palm thatching to make ends meet for their daily needs.
Thatching, an effective roofing method utilizing palm branches, has endured through generations. Its simple yet effective technique involves laying vegetation to redirect water away from roof's interior. Surprisingly, in today's modern era, people still rely on the versatility of palm branches for their livelihood, notably in local establishments and bars. In Nigeria, particularly in Ibeju-Lekki area of Lagos State, individuals practice the craft of palm thatching to support themselves and their families financially, highlighting the enduring relevance of these traditional skills.
We get this thing from palm tree or inside bush. So we sold one 300 naira.
Make up with taxes and when we have no business. So this is the only job that we have. We are doing to meet up life everything. And people came to buy some of them. Sometimes we have customers, some of the time we have no customers. And we sold a dozen, 2,000 naira.
It is time to do this business. They do them for this 30s with the seller. We go cut down for this. So they do them to seller. People they come buy them 300 naira for per one. The seller.
Palm tree thatching has become a common sight in the bars of Ibeju-Lekki area of Lagos State. Beyond its role as a traditional roofing material, it serves as a vital source of employment and income, especially given the current economic conditions in Nigeria. In a time where job opportunities are scarce, the use of palm tree thatch underscores the resilience and adaptability of local communities, providing individuals with the means to support themselves amidst economic challenges.
To international developments, President Macky Sall's initiative to convene a dialogue in Dakar has culminated in significant developments for Senegal's political landscape. The conclusion of the dialogue on Tuesday revealed two crucial outcomes that are set to shape the nation's electoral future. The first focal point of discussion revolved around the electoral process. Participants deliberated on the status of candidates, particularly distinguishing between those whose candidacies were upheld by the Constitutional Council and those deemed as spoiled candidates. The second major deliberation centered on determining the election date. After careful consideration and dialogue, consensus emerged around setting June 2nd as the date for the presidential election. President Sall emphasized the importance of concluding the electoral process before the onset of the rainy season in June and had set the stage for this decision at the beginning of the dialogue. The dialogue now concluded. All attention turns to President Sall for the final validation of the decisions reached during the discussions. The nation eagerly awaits his response to the proposals put forward by the participants. The outcome of this pivotal dialogue is anticipated to pave the way for a transparent and inclusive electoral process, reinforcing Senegal's commitment to democratic principles. To sports now, Nigeria Super Falcons are set to face South Africa in the final qualifying round for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, following South Africa's 1-0 victory over Tanzania in the second leg, third round clash on Tuesday. South Africa secured their spot with a 4-0 victory over aggregate win over Tanzania. Meanwhile, the Falcons advanced to the final qualifying round after defeating Cameroon. The first leg in Douala ended goalless, but the Super Falcons clinched a 1-0 victory in the reverse fixture in Abuja thanks to Esther Okoronko's goal. With their eyes set on the first Olympic Games appearance since Beijing 2008, the Falcons are gearing up for the crucial final qualifying round against Bayana of South Africa. Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. We'll be back a little later. But for now, follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more news and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time. I'll see you soon.